There's a great new book on live streaming. It's a #1 bestseller, and it will help you go live for the first time or improve if you haven't gotten exactly where you want to go. This will help you get there. It's also a great reference guide, and we've got the author here. Kevin Kolbe joins us on Livestream Deals to talk about live streaming and YouTube. Stay tuned. Let's do a show. In just a second, we will do a show. Hey gang, Ross Brand here for Livestream Universe. Welcome to Livestream Deals. It's our 6th anniversary of Livestream Deals. 6 years. We started on Facebook Live in 2017. The show became a podcast in 2018, and now it originates on YouTube, sometimes on Amazon Live. We're so glad you joined us. If you're new to Livestream Deals, this is the show where we feature great products and services for live streamers, podcasters, and content creators. We interview the people who make the products, whether it's the authors who write the books, as we're going to do today, or the founders, CEOs, or brand reps for some of the great gear and software and other products you use in your content creation. Anyway, let's get right to it. We've got a wonderful guest for our 6th anniversary. It's Kevin Kolbe. He's been a contributor to all 3 of my books. He was a part of our 5th anniversary Livestream Universe show, now part of the 6th anniversary of our Livestream Deals show and podcast. And let's bring him on, the great Kevin Kolbe, and not only YouTuber, but now a #1 best-selling author. Welcome, Kevin. Great to have you on the show.
Man, you didn't tell me when you invited me. This is like the 6th anniversary. This is actually, dude, that is cool. That is cool. I don't know that I've stated anything that long.
Well, it's the 106th episode, if I counted correctly, a little while ago. But regardless, you're here because you've got a great book, and the time is right to talk to you. I am super honored that you asked me to write the forward to the book. But I'm telling you, as somebody who's been involved in live streaming since 2015 and worked in broadcasting before that, you're the perfect person to deliver this message. You made it so that you could read it today and literally go live tomorrow and know what you're doing. Before we get into the book, which is called Live Streaming Made Easy, and that is an easy title to remember, Live Streaming Made Easy. There's a link to get the book in the video description. You could also go to my shop on Amazon. It'll be the first product that you find there. Either way, check it out. It's a great book. I wanted to ask you, you've done so many different things in this realm, from being today, a fast-growing YouTube creator and a popular instructor for a lot of people on learning about live streaming and video creation. You've got a background in radio and television. Just tell everybody a little bit about your background in terms of how it relates to putting this book together.
Yeah, and thank you. And by the way, and I've said this before, you were my only choice for writing the forward. So
thank you.
It's fair and honest to say I wouldn't have had one if you hadn't have said yes. And
thank you.
I'm okay with begging.
I'm super honored, and I'm super happy for how the book turned out. It's really a wonderful, wonderful accomplishment.
Thanks. It's funny. My nature of just being able to turn a mic on or a camera and talking and stuff like that, which really does lend itself to live streaming. I didn't think about it, but I probably got some of that from my mom. So, my parents don't have internet. They still refer to it as the Facebook, if they remember the name of it. But she's always had this, she could go talk to anybody about anything. And I think I got that part of her personality in me. And, I was always fascinated with the radio growing up. And so when I had the chance to start in radio, that's actually what started me in the wonderful world of media. Of course, that was that, we refer to that as traditional media, but it was like, wow, this is so cool. And there was something about just turning on the mic and talking, which then you immediately realize you don't see who you're talking to. I mean, at least this way, I'm looking at a lens and my big noggin on the monitor above it. I can look over and see you. But on radio, it's like you're talking to a mic. And unless somebody calls, then you're kind of hoping they're listening. And then from there, I transitioned into television and worked in TV for most of my I was starting to say professional career. I was in TV for like probably 30 years, working at different affiliate networks, Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS, even worked, did, and a lot of this was as creative director and did some stuff with the CW as well. And, going live, especially with a station that had a news station, I mean, we did it all the time. It was like no big deal. My team at the last station I was at, we produced 3 seasons of a show called Give Me the Mic, which was similar to American Idol. We had American Idol at the time before it went to the other network. That was first. And what ended up happening was we would pre-record a bunch of the shows and then we would do the finale live. And so, yeah, a live production is different than what we're doing right now to a degree. But I think it's never been intimidating just to turn a mic on, look at a camera and talk. And I think that led into it. And if you kind of transition that over into the book, I mean, the more I've been a solo content creator, I think I can overcomplicate anything. And I think part of that is just the way I'm wired. I'm a perfectionist, which is not necessarily a good gift to have if you're a creator. And then coming from the world of, broadcast, where everything you tried to perfect it before you ever put it out there. And now, where I think being real is really better than did I get that edit right and say it right. And so I just thought that, it shouldn't be that hard to be able to live stream and it can lead to so much stuff, period. I mean, whether you're a business, nonprofit, personal brand, just want to have fun, it just shouldn't be that hard. And so that was kind of the genesis of starting it. It actually started as a checklist. And I thought that I was going to offer, as a lead magnet. And I kept thinking, what if I just expanded this to be more in depth to help somebody go from kind of A to Z. So that's the long version of it.
Well, usually when you hear, and here's the book, Livestreaming Made Easy, beautiful cover that you did as well, Kevin. One of the things you usually hear from people is, I had heard it was rough to write a book or whatever, but it's the hardest thing I've ever did, or it's hard. I would say you sweated a little bit less than most people did. You really, either you didn't show it, or you just really came to this kind of medium of writing a book and self-publishing with a lot of confidence and a lot of cool, because it seemed to come together from you telling me you're working on a book until you had it done and it was up. And next thing I notice, you're #1 in podcasts and webcasts in the U.S. and you're starting to chart internationally. And I'm following, a little bit to see how you're doing. And it's like, wow, he had a home run on his first at bat.
I remember when we were talking, and you asked me at one point, like how long it was going to take or what my goal was. And I think my original goal was I wanted to get it written, done, and published in 2 weeks. And you were like, oh, really? And again, you don't know what you don't know. I'm very impatient. So I think there was that part. There was also the part of more I got into it, I wanted to finish it and I wanted to get it out there. I didn't know. So like from a video producer, there's something about working on the video and then seeing it online, seeing it on YouTube, or if I'm doing something for a client, seeing it on their website and then use it. that, I'll be honest, that just doesn't get old. It never got old in television when we would see our work, and I say ours as our team, on TV. But, you know, seeing the book on Amazon, I mean, actually getting the proof
having
copy.
that thing you can hold is
Oh,
amazing.
it
I
is.
mean,
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you were to ever ask my wife, when I got the proof copy, it was like I changed to like an 8-year-old boy at
right,
Christmas.
right.
It was it was unreal. It was, I don't want to say, it was harder than I thought in the things what I didn't know. Like when you got to the whole and the reason if somebody's curious, the reason I chose self-publishing is, I think it's that independent. It's being that solo content creator. I don't have a team, and not against teams. I worked with one for years, but
Right.
there was something about that independence. Like, I want to be able to do this, and then I'll outsource what I need to, like the guy that formatted it, that you hooked me up with, that was phenomenal. The guy that actually took the design and then formatted that to upload it.
Right.
But you know, hitting that publish button, there's that, okay, is it, do I really want, well, I don't, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then you hit it, and I think I immediately went downstairs to my wife, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I should, you know, but it was different. But I also think that, and I think we talked about this maybe on the live stream we did, is that doing different things, I think, stretches us as creators. I enjoy writing. I mean, most of what I do is video. I enjoy writing. It doesn't always come like, you know, that,
Right.
but I enjoy it, and I tend to write conversational, and I think I kind of went into the book, and there were days when it was just like I just wrote,
Yeah.
and I didn't know where it was going to go, and I just wrote and stopped. So there's a little bit of that. So I don't know that that part of it, I felt at home, you know, just writing. But then when you get to the, oh, now I've got to turn this into a book.
Yeah,
So
there's
that'd be
really a
different.
difference between writing and writing a book. Like
Yeah.
the book part of it is a whole different sort of set of things that you need to learn. Now, having gone through the process and being on the other side of the hardest parts of it, would you do another book?
Oh, dude. Yes. Yeah, you know, and again, because of just the way I'm wired, I would be lying if I didn't say that I would like to do another one by the end of the year. I don't know that that's feasible,
Wow.
because there's other things I'm trying to work on. But yeah, this wasn't the first. When I wanted to do a book, I keep a do list, and when I had on there, write a book, this
Right.
wasn't the book I had in mind. But it was the book that I just kind of felt called to write, that I kept, you know, like, well, let me do this one. Let me do this one. And so now it's like, ooh, I wouldn't mind doing a book about this, and a book about this. And I don't want to just stay in the same, I don't want to make everything about video and things like that. You know, there's other things. 'Cause I mean, you know, we're more than one thing in life.
Right.
And so, but yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, I want to be. I don't. Yes. Yeah. How's that for a really bad answer? Yes.
So before we get to the tips on live streaming and talk a little YouTube, two quick questions. One is, why live streaming versus YouTube? You're probably, although you're an excellent live streamer, most people would probably say if there was one, their first identifier for you would probably be YouTuber or video creator.
Yeah.
Although a lot of your videos are live streamed and you're an outstanding live streamer. And the second question is, if you did another book by the end of the year, what are you thinking in terms of a topic? Can you share that with us? Give us a little preview of what the next Kevin Kolbe volume might be.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about doing one on video podcasting. I think the thing I struggle with is that different from live streaming. I mean, it is, but it's a part of it. But does that matter? Because not everybody's going to be interested in buying the live streaming book. I'm also feeling like writing something to just help other creators create, because we get in the headspace I mean, being, working for yourself, being a solo creator, at least for me, completely different than going into the office every day, working for a television station, having a team. It's just completely different. And I think there's a lot to be said there to just encourage and motivate and empower people to just, just create, and here's some things you can do. So that's where I would be leaning right now.
So video podcasting or something to encourage creators about the, tips for the creator life and how to navigate that and survive that would be a book that's really, really needed. Of course, video podcasting is hot right now, so you can't go wrong with that either.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the reason I chose live streaming again is just, it's kind of where I felt called to write, because I had, that's probably how we met. I can't remember. The funny thing is, there's very few people in my life I remember how I met. And then you get on the web and you meet so many people around the world, and you don't remember. I don't remember that first time.
Well, I don't know exactly when we first communicated, but I know that I first saw you speaking at Eddie Garrison's live event. So you were live streaming a talk, and I was had one coming up, or vice versa, and that's how I first found out about you. But like you say, we connected through a live stream.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and then I've done some work with BeLive, and I've done some work with StreamYard, and I've done some work with Ecamm Live. And, it's comfortable to me and talk about it. And I also think it's, if somebody is brand new to video, now live can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be that hard. And sometimes I just coach people, just go live the first time, and just kind of get it out of your system. You'll realize, oh, the world's okay. I can do it again.
All right. Now, I know I was going to ask you these tips that are easy, but now you've got a tip that this might be more of an advanced level thing, but I've got to ask you this because it comes across. You are so natural and comfortable being live, or you fake it so well that you've got me completely fooled. But it seems to me, if somebody was, particularly people who are more advanced and want to go to the next level, to look at what you're doing, it's how to be a natural conversationalist in what's sort of a unnatural environment. Like talking to you on a show is a lot like talking to you offline. There isn't a lot of difference, and yet you kind of know where to maybe inflect a little more, or pull back, or say less here, or ask a question there. But how long did it take you, or what was involved in sort of developing this persona where you're able to be so comfortable and casual and conversational without ever dipping in the professional aspect that you bring? Like you're the first thing that comes across is how professional you are, how good your voice is, and all that. But how are you able to do that and yet seem like you're just talking to me and talking to the audience, and not at all fazed by the fact that there's a camera in front of you, that there's an audience there? Now you're like, shit, I never even thought about all that. But that's my question, is that I think that's one of the things that really stands out, in addition to your voice and your talent and all that, is how natural and comfortable you are when the camera turns on.
And I appreciate that. That means a lot. The irony is, when I wanted to be on radio, and then when I did, I don't remember a moment, but it never felt like it was a big deal. It was fun to be on radio, but it never felt like, okay, I turned, now every radio station, you were in radio, every radio station has a different setup. So when I got back into radio a couple of years ago, I worked for a local station for about a year, and, it was all digitized at that point. And so it's a whole new system you've got to learn, but the mechanics kind of stay the same. You turn the mic on and you're talking, and, and I've gone through the exercises of talking to one person, talking to a bunch of people. I think you talk. you know,
Right.
and you talk to someone, and if it happens to be some mini, that's okay.
Right. Right.
Um, but the funny thing is that when I got into television, I didn't have any desire. I mean, my first station I worked at ever was a very small station. And they said, well, you know, do you want to learn how to edit? Sure. Do you want to learn how to yes. Do you want to be on camera? Sure. I just wanted to work in TV. I didn't
Right.
care.
Right.
And so they had me do the nightly news and sports update. Now these were like 1 minute.
Right.
They
Right.
gave me a newspaper here, just pull from the paper. It didn't really matter. Nobody was watching us anyway. And you know, I liked it, but I always enjoyed the behind the scenes more. I enjoyed the editing, the filming, and you know, the producing and doing that, and stations along the way. Then I would be a lot of times the one working on the campaigns for our on air talent, you know, and I enjoyed that. So when it came time just to be on camera, I don't know. I wasn't intimidated by it. It's weird to say. It never bothered me looking into a lens and just talking. Maybe it's my personality. Maybe I don't know what I should be intimidated by. You know, I don't like cockroaches and spiders. I will throw it out. But
So if one came across your desk while you were doing a show, that might
then
throw you slightly.
then you would just be seeing a mic. And me, but you'd see the little pew, the little
Right.
Warner
Right. Right.
Brothers. Yeah. But I think that's it. I've never liked teleprompters. I've never liked reading from a script. You know, I'll do bullet points sometimes based on what you know, this mic was sent to me as a review. And so when I did the video on it, I had some bullet points I wanted to talk about. But I like just the riffing. And the funny thing is too, and I was telling a friend about it, we were talking about the other night. I can kind of, not always well, self-edit in my head. And so I told him, I said, you know, you may watch sometimes, and you if you really pay attention, you'll hear me maybe just do a quick change. And that's me, kind of my brain going shift gears, or talk about this, or you mentioned this, or whatever. And I think it's not caring, but it's just like just going for it and not worrying about it and just being me. I think you know, you bring something up, Ross, and I hadn't really thought about it. I think too often, and I'm guilty of this, when I've filmed something, shot something on tape, and then edit it, I can get too much into a persona as opposed to just being me in the edit, where when you're live, you can turn it on for a little bit, but the longer you do it, the real you is going to come out. Or should.
Right.
So,
Right.
good or bad.
It's like you're being yourself, but you're turning the knob a little bit because it's a show and because
Yeah.
you need to be focused and you
Yeah.
want to be thoughtful about what you say to some degree, but you also want to be real. And
Yeah.
but it starts with having a conversation with somebody just as you would offline. I just want to say a quick hello. Dr. Stuart Buchan is here. He was a contributor to the 100 Prediction series. It says, great to see you both. Cheers from Bonnie, Scotland. Cheers to you, Dr. Stewart. Beauty Bubble is here. She says, Kevin has always presented himself as a natural, happy in his skin person. He has always appeared as if he is surrounded by many who consider him a friend. Just the thought from a viewer and fan.
Wow.
So,
Very sweet.
Very, very nice. Yeah. So let's turn our attention to, well, the book, of course. And if you don't have it yet, maybe I can figure out how to hold it in front of a camera. It's called Livestreaming Made Easy by Kevin Kolbe. You can find it on Amazon. There's a link in the description for the book. Definitely check it out. It's available both as a paperback and it's available at a very reasonable and fair price. If you like ebooks, you can pretty much be done reading it tonight. If you get started soon, you can have it done, and tomorrow you can go live and do your first live stream. And that's kind of where I want to go with you know, kind of our next segment is ask you What's the first thing you would tell somebody who's starting out? If you had to give somebody one tip, it could be something in the book, but it doesn't have to be. What's that one thing people should know before going live for the first time, or
Yeah.
if they've been going live for a while, they should make sure that they're doing this one thing.
If I'm talking to somebody that's never gone live, it's probably a combination of two things. One, I do think YouTube is the best platform, period, hands down. I really do believe it's the only. Is it perfect? No, I do think it's the only platform that gives creators the most opportunity to reach the most people and make money. And they're not paying me at all to say that.
Right.
I think it is that way. Having said that, though, if somebody is not comfortable going live, but they really want to, and Facebook is their thing, go live on Facebook. If it's Instagram, go live on Instagram. If it's LinkedIn, go live where you're most comfortable to start with. I think that's one, because you're used to that platform probably. And I think gear is what holds most people back. I can tell you without a doubt that every time I think I've got every piece of gear I need, oh, look at that. And and then all of a sudden, and the reality of it is you can just get this gear acquisition thing, and it's like, how many cameras do you need, and lenses, and blah blah blah. I would use what you have. And I'm sadly, I used to really, I won't say rag on, but I used to really like rail against, you don't want to use a webcam. You certainly don't want to use the camera in your laptop. And now I'm like, if that's what you've got, use it. If you're going to, I'll start live streaming when I have a camera. There's a good chance you won't, because then it's like, well, which camera are you going to get? Well, what's the best camera? There isn't. Well, how much money? And then it just goes on and on and on. Open your laptop. It is not a great camera, but that's okay live streaming. Dude, I did a video on this the other day because it blew my mind. There's a YouTuber named Ben of the Week. I think he's like, 24, 25. And millions of subscribers. To this day, he still shoots all of his videos on an iPad. And just recently got a lav mic. And he's like, I don't care. I just don't like tech.
Right.
So I would say, use what you have. You have an iPhone, use it. If you have a webcam, use it. If you have the built-in, use it. It's still gonna get there. If you don't have a mic, get as close to the source that has audio, and then just start on the platform you're most comfortable with, and see where it grows from there.
Yeah. Okay, so you're not worrying about your gear. You're going live with what you have.
Mhm.
How about the first time you go live? Do you tell people to have some sort of a game plan? Do you tell them to do something specific in the beginning to help them ease into doing
Yeah.
their first live stream?
I think it would depend on, and let me back up. I think this is a great question. And I think my answer has changed a little. So if it's just like we're doing, if you're a business person, let's say you're a real estate agent,
Right.
and you're wanting to get into YouTube, I would probably say have something to maybe a little bit more prepared. Don't overthink it, but just kind of like something you want to talk about real estate or whatever it might be. Other than that, I would say just get on and just talk about and share that this is, if you don't even know what to talk about, make that's what you talk about. Most people won't see everything we do in life anyway. Rarely are they going to see our early videos and our early live streams. Not saying, what nobody's ever going to watch. That's not it. But
Right.
get on and share why you're even doing this, what you're nervous about, what you want to do, and then start thinking about what you want to do after that. Do I want to come on with the 3 things about the stock market or whatever? You could do that right off the bat. I would keep it simple. I would really, really keep it simple until you start kind of, getting that flow. I mean, I know we're using StreamYard now. We both like StreamYard, Ecamm. They make it easy. Be Live is fairly easy to use as well. They're all different platforms, but you can use Zoom and things like that. I think there's better platforms to use, but at the same time, use what you're comfortable with and just get on there and just start talking, you know. And even if nobody shows up, always at least act like you're talking to one person is there, because you never know who's going to watch it later. And then
Right.
just have fun.
What's the one thing that people should stop doing? What's the one cringeworthy thing, or the thing that kills the vibe, sort of sets them off as, they don't know how to do this, they don't have it right, or whatever? Like, if you could tell people stop doing this one thing, you're just by that sheer act, you'll
Yeah.
be further along in your progress.
Stop saying, well, I'm going to wait for a few more people to get here before we start.
Mm.
Because what happens is, if somebody's there, it's all of a sudden they've got the idea of like, oh, well, I don't matter. I mean, it's not quite the same, but I just thought of the analogy. You go to the restaurant and they say, well, how many's in your party? 6, but we're all here, but 2. Oh, well, everybody will have to be here before we see you. Really? I mean, we're almost all here, and it's probably a bad analogy, but I think that's one thing where it just get into it. Just go. I'm also not a fan, and trust me, I've done these. I've absolutely done it. Well, Kevin's done this too. I'm not a fan of adding a lot of filler to wait for the content to come up. Now, everybody does it different. I used to use countdowns. I don't use them anymore. By the way, I love your animation.
Thanks.
I don't use countdowns anymore. I just get into it. There's nothing wrong with countdowns. There's a lot of debate about that. But I think the number one thing is people just going, well, we're going to kind of wait. We're going to wait a little bit, maybe see some people come in here, and just go. Just absolutely go. I mean, when you hit that live, give it all you got. And after a few minutes, if you feel like I've said everything and nobody's showing up, then, again, talking to the camera, hey, I hope you got something out of this, and remember to leave a comment if you're watching this later, and I'll see you next time.
There you go. I almost feel like we should be wrapping up, but we've got more to do. Dr. Stewart says it's all about the content and the connection you make with your viewers.
Absolutely.
How would you advise a beginner or somebody who's newer to live streaming to go about making that connection, managing the chat, bringing in some comments perhaps, without losing focus on the show and the larger audience? Because I think that's one of the toughest things, which radio doesn't have to deal with, although they take calls. TV never has to deal with. But live streamers not only are hosting and producing their own show, but they also have comments coming in and a chat. And a lot of times things can get off the rails as people try hard to bring the chat in, or to decide how they're going to address comments and questions and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. One, you can practice. Typically, when I go live, unless just some reason, now I have done those where it's just, I just want to go live. I just haven't gone live in a while. I'm just going to go live and chat. I don't really have an agenda.
Right.
I'm just going to hang out for a bit. People join me. That's fine. If not, then, I'll just end it when I'm done. Most time I have some notes, some bullet points. I'll do things as live sometimes, just to kind of stay in that mode, but I'll always run through it just to kind of have an idea of where I want to go and stuff like that. It is easy to get distracted as a solo content creator, not having a producer, if you're getting a lot of comments. Thankfully, when I was live streaming quite a bit for StreamYard on StreamYard's channel, we had somebody looking at the questions as they were coming in, because they would just be flying in sometimes. And so I would have somebody in guest chat say, hey, there's Bob's got a question. Now, sometimes you'd have to go back and scroll and find the question. There's some things you can do. You can ask people to, put a Q by their question, or put, an emoji or something like that. And then they've got to remember to do that as well. So I think it depends on what you're presenting. Like if you're going to go in and I'm going to do an information minute, and then if somebody's around, we'll answer. I know Nick Nimmin, I think he stopped this, but for a while he was live streaming on Friday, just like a YouTube news update. He did it as live, but he never addressed the comments. Now, again, that worked for Nick, and Nick is an amazing creator. I have a problem with going live like that and never addressing anybody ever. It's just, it feels like a little like paparazzi to me. I'm not going to talk to those people. So I just think you have to get used to it. I do think over time, let me say a couple of things. I think one is where you have your windows and everything like that. Like my monitor, if you can see my setup, is right over here because my camera is, and that's because I intentionally did this so the camera could be more eye level, so I could look at it more directly like this and not up. So I do have to look over at the comments. I do think over time I've gotten more comfortable with that. It is live, and I'm not producing a newscast where the anchor never looks off. They always just look at their co-anchor. Thank you.
Right.
They're back. They're not looking at the stage manager over here and the on-air light and stuff like that. I think what we're doing, it's if I look off at a comment and go, oh, Dr. Stewart said this, or Beauty Bubble,
everybody knows you're reading the comments anyway. They're probably reading them in their own own video window.
It is easy. I will say it is easy to get out of the flow. Good or bad, we can debate that. Where you're getting ready to make a point, you look over, somebody says something, and you throw that out there, and that can be a disconnect in the information. The flip side to that is, though, you can always, and it's getting easier and easier, re-edit to repurpose the live stream later and cut those things out if you wanted to. Right. I just did that with our interview the other day. You and I went live for like 45 minutes or so to talk about the book. I repurposed it as a little over a 6-minute video. So just cutting to the stuff we talked about.
Right.
So there's ways to do it, but some of it just comes with it. I used to go back and forth on mic in the shot or not, mic in the shot or not, mic in the shot or not. And I was talking to my wife one day, and she's like, honey, I think people know you're using a mic. It really doesn't matter. And I'm like, you are a smart woman. That is true. So it's like, some of the things I think we as professional content creators worry about, 99% of the people don't.
Yeah. I mean, I've always done mic in the shot, tried to find different ways to do it. I actually have been meaning to set up a low profile boom arm, which will then be less distracting than some of the other ways to set it up. But I think with video podcasts becoming so popular now, the trend that was kind of get the mic out of the shot, now it's okay to have the mic in the shot, because a lot of times they have the mic in the shot when they're doing a video podcast, because they really want to capture that audio up close, and with the best gear for capturing the audio for a podcast is generally a dynamic mic up close to the person who's speaking. Let's turn to YouTube, because you mentioned YouTube. If there's one place you'd recommend people go, it's YouTube. What does a new live streamer need to know about getting started with a YouTube channel, and just kind of the mindset or the basic strategy parameters to keep in mind? Because it's not the same as just going, I'm going to pick up my phone and go live on Instagram or Facebook Live or Twitter. Of course, you can just pick up your phone and go live on YouTube, but generally you need a little bit more of a framework or idea of where things kind of fit together if you want to try and grow on YouTube and build an audience there.
Yeah, I mean, on the grander scale, I mean, YouTube is a search engine, so people go there to look for things. It's, I mean, really the two types of content on YouTube is education and entertainment. Now, if you can blend both of those, that's huge.
Right.
But that's really what people are doing. So, you have to keep that in mind when you're creating. I mean, there needs to be a title to your video. You cannot upload or go live without a title to it. Now, you could call it, hey, I wouldn't, but you could just call it hey, and that's a title. You have a thumbnail, either YouTube picks for you, don't ever do that, or upload one like you did for this live stream. You created one and put it up there. So there's some basic things like that. You know, you create your YouTube channel, it's free. You've got to have a you've got to have a Gmail account, which is free. And then there's some things you need to do in the back end. It's not that many things now where you have to make sure your channel has been verified, which is not like paying to get a blue check or something. It's just like making sure you're who you say you are. And then it's kind of like gaming. They unlock some things. And one of the things they unlock is the ability to live stream. And so then you can live stream. And if you decide you want to just live stream, you can do that. If you want a channel just on shorts, you can do that. If you want a channel that has all of those in there, you can do that as well. And, you know, the more time and the beauty is you can even take so like, for example, this live stream you're watching right now, and when it's done, Ross could take it, completely change the thumbnail, completely change the title to make it look different. You know, I used to put live in my thumbnails and then realize why. The majority of people were watching it after the fact, so it really didn't matter if it was live. So I just stopped doing that at all and focused on what I was talking about.
Now, you mentioned the show that we did and uploading a new version of it, a condensed version, so that basically it fits the flow of what people expect when they're going to watch an on-demand video versus the longer form conversational piece that we did live. Now, do you change the thumbnail? Do you change the title? What do you do if you re-upload a clip or a condensed version? How do you optimize that? Or how do you make sure that YouTube doesn't think you're doing double content on your channel?
Yeah. What you don't want to do is, if I had taken that live stream and downloaded it and just re-uploaded it where it looks exactly the same, I mean, it's the same content, and YouTube doesn't like that at all. I'm not 100% sure you get dinged on it, but they just don't like that, which makes sense, right? But yes, the goal is, the key is that you repackage it. And packaging is everything. So for the one you're talking about, yeah, I gave it the title is close. I think I called our live streams 6 reasons every video creator. I think I said content creator should write a book, and I think for the other one I changed it to 6 reasons every video creator should write one.
Okay.
Completely different thumbnail. On the other thumbnail, there's both of us in our books. On the edited one, there's my camera sitting on a stack of books.
Right.
Which, by the way, I'll admit that I was stumped on a thumbnail, and I went to my good friend AI and I said, I'm doing a video about this. What are some thumbnail ideas? And one of them was a camera sitting on a stack of books.
Nice.
And I thought, okay, I think I can do that. And so that's how I did that. But yeah, you want to repackage it. Some of the description's a little different. But you know, I tell you who does a amazing job with this is Sean Cannell with Think Media podcast. So he'll do these long podcasts, you know, it could be 45 minutes, hour and a half, and then they'll chop them up based on segments in the video. So in reality, I could take our live stream. So I did it cut it down where we had all 6 things in there. But then I could do 6 individual videos that are shorter on just each one of those points. And you could do a quick intro, or you could just cut to it. I'll share an example if you want of one that really worked for me. When shorts first came out, I did a live stream with Desiree Martinez and Shelly Saves the Day, talking about shorts. Well, going into it, I knew there were certain things I was going to ask, like, you know, do you need a thumbnail? Because that was the big hot topic. You know, do you need a thumbnail for your shorts? And there were several other things. So I kind of had it segmented out. And so we did the live stream. And then from that live stream, I cut 4 shorter version videos. To date, I think the live stream has maybe over 100 views. But one of the videos, it's like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. with a new thumbnail and a new title, do you need a thumbnail in your shorts, has over 1,000 views
Right.
just on that one video. And you can always link back to the longer video too, which I do in our shorter one. So yeah, repackage it, but think about that, and it may be that your live stream doesn't repurpose that way, but it could. You could go in and say, hey, today I'm going to talk about, 3 things about video podcasting. And so you talk about your 3 things, that's a video. And then somebody asks a question, that could be a video. And so you start thinking about, oh, okay, yeah, I could repackage that, but yet the whole thing still lives.
I think like most of my better performing videos are uploads, not live streams. Even if they were live streamed on another platform and then just uploaded with almost no editing or minimal editing to YouTube, it seems to be easier. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's changing, but how do you not get discouraged if you're a new YouTube live streamer when you go through and you see it's not that many views? Now, you're uploading directly. You might not get that many views in the beginning either, but it tends to be from talking to a lot of different people. They just don't see the same number of views or same number of comments after the video on a live stream versus one that they uploaded directly.
I think that's I honestly I think that's a fair question and one that every person has to struggle with on their own at some point. There's this rush you get. I'll just talk about YouTube. There's this rush you get when you publish a video and it gets any views, and then all of a sudden it gets a lot of views. I mean, just this week I had a video hit 100,000 views. I published it in February. Most of my videos don't do that. It don't do that quickly. Live streams in general mostly don't get a ton of views initially. Now, what can sway that? Bigger audience, bigger creator, going live more often, and the beauty with YouTube is you can go into if you're new to YouTube, it's called YouTube Studio, and you can get more analytics than it's overwhelming at some point, but it'll show you over time. Now you're going to have to do the reps and do this for a while to get enough data for YouTube to show you. But I've got enough where I can see what my viewers watch most, whether it's produced or live or shorts. And then the ones that watch live, what do they watch and things like that. So that can guide it. But I would say, you got to figure out what your expectations are. And it's tough. If I put a video out next week and in no time it gets 1,000 views, well, my next one may not.
Right.
And you're like, well, dang it, it didn't do that well. And it's like, what were you expecting? Well, maybe it only had 100 views only. It had 100 views, but you had 5 comments. Or if you're a business, you got a lead off of it.
Right.
Or, and so there's different ways of looking at it. Unless you make your video or live stream unlisted, it'll be there forever. My highest viewed live stream is 2 years old, I think 2 years old, and has over 3,000 views and continues to grow over time. But it wasn't just like hang out with Kevin. I think it was like, it was either how to look better on camera or how to get multiple angles out of one camera shot. So, I mean, I went into it methodically.
It was sort of a how-to kind of concept that somebody would be looking for. Now, do you, have you ever done a live, taken it offline afterwards or set it as private or what have you, and then just re-uploaded the same video as is to see how to compare?
No. I mean, I typically, there was, this technically is not my first YouTube channel. I had one before this one, the one I have, I say this one, mine. And for some, like a dork, I deleted it and I started over. And now I am an absolute proponent against deleting. Why?
Right.
Why? You never know. First of all, you never know when it's going to hit and click, and it may never. and it's also kind of part of our legacy and history.
Right, right.
But yeah, my thing is kind of, if I put it out there, I just leave it. I
Mhm.
just leave it. I don't ever take it down. Um, now granted, if let's say I live stream today on my channel, a month from now, it's got like 3 views. I could take it down and then re-chop it up and do it as a video and repackage it, and it might do better.
How much work do
But
you want to put into a video
yeah,
that got 3
I would,
views and it's there
yeah,
anyway?
yeah, I would put that time into a new video,
So
quite
you leave
honestly.
it there and you never know,
Yeah,
right? It could
yeah,
take off a year from now. The topic could get hot or
yeah. Yeah, the video I mentioned a few minutes ago that just hit 100,000. I mean, if you look at the line, it's just doing this for quite a while. I mean, quite a
right,
while.
right.
And then all of a sudden it just goes. And I can't attribute anything to that other than it just did.
Are there any new trends on YouTube, new things that a new live streamer who might be aware a little bit of how YouTube works, but hey, here's
Yeah.
some new things that's going on with the algorithm or with what YouTube's telling creators that they should be aware of?
Well, I mean, they just announced they had this big event that I was not invited to, so my feelings were hurt. Called Made by YouTube, and they announced some pretty interesting things coming next year for everybody, including there's going to be excuse me, there's going to be more baked in AI tools, if you will, inside all of our studios. And let me just say, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I don't know about AI, call it whatever you want. A lot of times we use AI and we don't even know we're using it. It's just now that's the new buzzword, right?
Hmm.
But it's going to be things to help creators like come up with titles, come up with ideas. I mean, they're not going to tell you the video to do, but I think that's huge. They're going to be introducing thumbnail testing, where
Hmm.
literally Ross could have uploaded and we're all going to get it. Ross, you don't have to, but Ross could have uploaded 2 different thumbnails for a video. Let's say he repurposes this one, and YouTube will tell him which one is getting more traction, which one is getting more clicks, which one is leading to more views, because ultimately they want people on the platform.
Right.
I hear, not through any secret source, just watching YouTube videos, that they're going to be introducing live streaming to shorts, which doesn't surprise me because they've gone way all in on it. I personally think because of TikTok, they've gotten so distracted with shorts that they've maybe let some other parts of YouTube not slide,
Hmm.
but there hasn't been a lot that has changed in the live streaming part of YouTube. I think it's kind of the same. And I heard that I think they want to start kind of addressing that because again, it's there's people that just want to go live.
Yeah.
But I would say that there's more opportunities coming for shopping.
Hmm.
They've teased that online courses, we might be able to host online courses on there, but but I actually tweeted the other day and got YouTube to reply that there's no scheduled release date of that. They are adding and this could be huge for some people. They are adding the ability to add multi-language tracks to your video. So, because some people will take their videos and have them revoiced for a Spanish audience or a, Japanese audience or something like that. And you'll soon have the ability to do that on the one channel. And that could open up, your channel and your content to a whole new world. No
Wow.
pun
And that
intended.
would be using AI. It would just be done
From
for
what I
you.
understand,
Or
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
wow. So it sounds exciting. I mean, it sounds like a lot of
Oh,
new
yeah.
technology and a lot of new features coming along.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure they're working on stuff we don't know about, but it's, I mean, technically, according to YouTube, my channel has been around since 2017. I really only got serious about it a few years ago. And even since then, seen the things that have changed. Now they take away some things too.
Right.
Um, but it's fairly easy. Now it is easy to create a channel and upload videos. Now there's a lot more to it than that,
Right.
but again, it just it to me it's just, I don't know, it's just the best platform to be on.
Beauty Bubble says YouTube is one of the best proof of work assets one can have, in my opinion. Earlier, when we were talking about the chat for live streams, she mentions that the chat is an underutilized feature. I've been seeing much more chatters talking amongst themselves as a live creator gets sorted out. Your chatters can be the heart of your outreach. Yes, that is
Yeah.
a very, very important thing as you grow. If you have a supportive audience that comes back, the chat can really sort of talk amongst yourselves while I figure out why my audio is going in the wrong way or what
Yeah.
have you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you know what, and that's a fantastic point, and that speaks to community. It happened on a live stream I did once where, more people were starting to hang out, and I glanced over and you see people talking to each other, and I thought, I love this. I mean, I don't need to be the center of attention. I mean, the fact that, it's like going to a party and then people start talking to other people and they start connecting. So yeah, she absolutely right.
Tell me about this live streaming into shorts. Is this like just a vertical video live stream and you can
Yeah.
go as long as you want? Or is this a 1 minute or less live stream, but hey, we're going to do it live?
Yeah. You know what? I didn't, that's a great question. I didn't think about that. From what I understand, it'll be vertical.
Mhm.
I don't know that you would have, I mean, I think there would probably be at some point the capability of you live and it goes landscape and vertical. I don't know why you would do that though, because if it's on your channel, you're going to see, so my guess is you would say, yeah, I want to go vertical. To me, it doesn't make, personally, it wouldn't make any sense to live stream for a minute. It's
Mhm.
just like, really? I mean, what the heck? Sometimes it takes 5 minutes for the notifications to even go out. I have a feeling, I don't know this, but my gut is if they do activate live on shorts, and this may be why they haven't done it, you'll have the opportunity to go longer.
Mm.
And of course, then the minute that happens, people are going to say, well, can we go longer just on shorts? And there is something to be said about if you're going to do it, you got a minute, make it happen, tell your story, show your product, have fun, and just be done.
Well, I
So,
mean, I think that, thinking back to something Brian Fanzo used to talk about probably 5 years ago or so, he used to say sometimes creativity is enhanced where there's limitations. So
true.
if it
Yep.
was a new genre of 1 minute live streams, that would be pretty exciting, I think. Chris Curran's here. Hey, the podcast engineering school. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, as we wrap up, I guess the last thing I was thinking of is maybe it's just people who primarily have a shorts audience. They're basically creating shorts on
Yeah.
a regular basis, want to be able to perhaps live stream vertically to a shorts audience because their audience isn't so much a follower of their channel as a consumer of their shorts that constantly show up in their feed. Now a
True.
live stream would show up. Because
Yeah.
if you watch somebody's shorts, I mean, if you watch somebody's channel, their channel videos will show up. But with shorts, it's like, it's one after the other. You can get your shorts down to where it's the same person
Yeah.
18 times in a row if you watch
Yeah.
enough of their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think where it will come into play, and this all probably has to do with, the viewer, the person, the content. I can't personally fathom holding up my phone vertically and watching, a 10, 15-minute video vertically.
Right, right.
I'm a horizontal kind of guy. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, and you're right. It could usher in a whole new way of going live. It's just, how does that work? I don't know. I don't know. And they could try it and never release it because they do beta test stuff a lot. And sometimes they just go, it's just not working, so we're not going to release it.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Kevin. The book is Live Streaming Made Easy. The author is Kevin Kolbe. It's a #1 bestseller on Amazon. It's available in paperback and in ebook. I'm super honored, again, that you asked me to write the forward. I really enjoyed doing that, and the book is terrific. And if you're getting started live streaming, and I've worked with a lot of new live streamers as well as advanced people, I can't think of a better thing to do tonight to get started tomorrow than read this book. There's no fluff. There's no advertising pitches. It is straight the information you need to be capable and competent and have a really well-developed sense of what you need to do without getting overwhelmed. It's a wonderful accomplishment, Kevin, and congratulations and much success with the book. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah, me either.
You might
Thanks for having me
surprise
on. I
yourself.
really appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on. This is Livestream Deals. We'll be doing more shows over the next couple of weeks. We have next week on Wednesday coming up, Brendan Mulligan from Podpage. Podpage is an app that basically lets you set up a podcast website from your RSS feed in minutes. He's got a whole new tier of features, and so we look forward to talking to him about that next week on Wednesday. And of course, every Thursday we have the Stream Leader Report live panel. Yesterday we did a show. We have Rob Greenlee, is a Hall of Fame podcaster. He's a regular on the panel. Claudia Santiago, a singer, entertainer, and live streamer, is a regular on the panel. And Rebecca Gunter, who hosts a wonderful show called Business in the Raw and is a writer and business coach. She's on the panel every week. The four of us, Thursdays, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, discuss the latest in tech and news and different topics. We have some fun. We tackle some serious topics as well. So thanks everybody for being here. Thanks to, of course, Kevin Kolbe. Get his book over at Amazon, link in the description. Thanks to Chris Curran for coming by. Beauty Bubble, great to see. The great Skyrider from Durham, the great Durham Skyrider, Patricia A. Murray, nice to see you. Dr. Stewart was here earlier, and thank you all so much. We'll see you again on another episode of Livestream Deals. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful day.